Pause up, everyone. Welcome to Meowy Hour. I'm your host, Arden Moore. As you know, this show is brought to you each and every Wednesday night by the Cat Fancier Association. We also want to do a special shout out to this month's sponsor, Doc and Phoebe. They make a lot of cool hunting and feeding items for the hunting cat in yours. And this is one of the mice, and you can see it has a little thing you can put treats in and let them work their noodle. I can't do this show without my co-pilot, and she is all breed CFA cat judge, Kathy Black. And we don't discriminate. We love all sentient beings. That's why we have our doggy designee, Destiny. Now, all of us know one of the things we need to do is life doesn't go as planned. We do our best, but sometimes a hiccup occurs. And the hiccup occurred tonight. But thanks to Kathy, we are pivoting. This is the word of the show, pivoting, because our very special guest and good friend and amazing veterinarian to help all cats, Dr. Liz Bales, she didn't bail on the show. She got under the weather and she couldn't make the show tonight. She sends her kindest regards. She is the inventor, the founder of the Doc and Phoebe lineup of cat products. So we are here wishing her well.
Yes, get well soon.
And of course, I feel like I have a hairball because I swallowed my water wrong. So it didn't have a hairball. But we love you, Dr. Bales. We wish you, hope you get back on your four paws quickly. So guess what? We're pivoting. She was destined to be on our show in a few weeks. And this is another reason why I so admire her. Guess who's our guest today? Guess who's been behind the wheel running the Meowy Hour for the past 2 years? And she has been an amazing co-pilot. But you know what? Today is her day. Today is the day we get to know a little bit more about Kathy Black. So Kathy, thank you for stepping up at the very last minute and saying, sure, I'll go on. Casey likes it, right?
I'm very glad to be here, and I wasn't feeling well at all last Wednesday. Those that were watching saw me constantly drinking my hot tea because I was really having a lot of difficulty. So thank you to everyone that was wishing me to get well soon. I'm feeling so much better, and I'm happy to be here and very happy to step in as the guest tonight.
Yeah, she's the guest, and she's the only guest we've ever had in the history of Meowy Hour that also has to be my co-pilot at the same time.
Hey, I wear multiple hats.
If I threw you a pack of gum and gave you a cup of tea, can you do all of that at the same time?
Yes.
Probably. But before we dive into what is all about Kathy Black, let's talk about some things that are happening in the Muse, headline Muse. And this is one of my favorite publications for cats. It will not win Best Design Award, but the Cornell Catwatch comes out monthly, and it is, everything is vetted out by board certified veterinarians in a variety of specialties. And they had an interesting article. We all know cats love boxes, right, guys? And during COVID, you're getting all those Chewy.com and Amazon boxes, and you're opening them up, and your cat doesn't care. The cat wants to jump in your box, right, Kathy?
Oh, most definitely.
So we know that they like boxes, but the fine folks at Cornell's University of Veterinary Medicine decided to take a little bit deeper look into what is it about boxes, Casey? Well, this is Rusty. Rusty, what is it about boxes that you like? I gotta keep my lips up. It's under the cat code. We don't discuss things like that to humans. Well, I'm gonna share with you some stuff. Just nod your head if it's the right thing. Okay, Rusty says, did you guys know that this allure of cardboard boxes and other small things, especially big cats and small things, which is hilarious, it isn't all just about having fun from the feline perspective. It turns out that these boxes sometimes give cats an extra challenge when they're playing with a toy. So you drop a little toy mouse in a deep box, watch the fun. Also, the cat sometimes uses the box to hide in it, like Rusty is doing right now, as an ambush zone. So they're peeking out in the box, waiting for your ankles to walk by. They also, though, we know cardboard boxes give some cats a feeling of security, of safety, because they feel like they're kind of cozied in. In fact, there's a new study out that they found when cats were given hiding boxes in shelters, those cats had lower stress than the other cats in the shelter who did not have the hiding boxes. So Kathy, you want to show a couple of the images I grabbed?
Sure. And it always seems like the big cats want to get in the little tiny boxes. And
now, what kind of cat is that? Is that a cat? Is that a purebred?
It's hard to tell. It's a Maine Coon looking cat, but it's hard to tell if it's pedigreed or not. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. And then I love this next one. It's kind of like a clown car. How many kittens can you get in a box? Go for it, Kathy.
The funniest thing I ever saw was my 18-pound cat trying to get an iPhone box. That was pretty hilarious. She got one foot in, but she was thinking she could fit her whole body in there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, cats just are attracted to boxes. They just instantly
I love that
know
picture.
when there's a new one in the house. Yeah, they're just attracted to them. They really are.
Well, the other thing about boxes that they found in the study is that cats who are not given boxes, and raise a paw if you've had this experience, sometimes boycott by flipping their litter boxes and creating a hiding place of their own. And there goes the litter all over your floor.
Yes. When I always had my kittens, I had my kittens born in a big Rubbermaid tub.
Yeah.
Okay, because it was confined, and the mama felt secure. She had something to push against the walls. But then when they got older, I always turned it up on its side and made it where it was recessed with a lid, kind of sticking over.
Yeah.
And the babies would be underneath there feeling nice and secure before they were brave enough to venture out into the room. So that kind of gave them that little box feel. Yeah.
Well, and this one, I know we're hitting that summer, but kitties love warm. They love sunshine and all that. And they also found that they can aid in the thermal regulation of their body temperatures because the boxes act as an insulator and they keep the kitties warm and cozy. So I have no idea. These folks that have like Vanna White initials after their name have done a huge study on cardboard boxes and cats. So that was my rip from the headline story. What do you think, Kathy?
I think that's amazing. I never thought about the warmth aspect of it, the insulation aspect of it, but a cat's going to go where they know they're going to stay the warmest. So that's cool.
Well, when we bring our groceries in, if there is any kind of plastic bag or grocery bag, Rusty especially goes flying in it, and it's right on top of our kitchen island. I mean, we're not leaving them because we don't want any kind of strangulation, but he just gets in there and he looks at you like, you don't see me, do you? You don't see me, I'm not here, right? So anyway, so that's our big news for today. We are going to move into trivia because we have a winner to announce from Kathy. And again, we do want to thank Doc and Phoebe. This looks like a mouse, and it's a hunting feeder. And we're going to be giving some prizes from Doc and Phoebe. So the question was for all of you, and some of you were extremely astute. In fact, Kathy, didn't somebody even link a to their answer?
Well, they posted actual numbers for your choices. Then I had to get online and do some studying myself. And the crazy thing is, the creature that has the widest range of hearing is a moth.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Why does a moth need to hear anything? They don't ever act like they know you're coming. You know, they're real easy to catch. And
well,
they
the
fly
other
around
question
light bulbs. Who needs
How in the hell did
hearing?
how in the hell did a scientist figure that out?
I don't know, but I don't know why they need the hearing. Someone needs to tell me that. But a moth, of all things.
I think somebody should do a study on that question of moths. Moths want a voice.
But we had a lot of people give us the wrong answer. A lot of people picked dog, which was wrong.
Well, let me give you choices. Yeah. The choices were, who hears the best? Were people? We know that's not true.
No.
Cats? They hear pretty well. Dogs? Nope. Mice.
And it was mice. And I had very few people answer mice. Most people either said dog or cat. So the winner was Cheryl Boyer. Congratulations,
Oh, congratulations, Cheryl.
And so Cheryl gives to Doc and Phoebe food toys.
Oh, nice, nice. And now I did a little research more about mice, and it turns out it depends on the age of the mouse. Did you know that?
No.
Well, mice hear their very best at age 30 days. They
probably don't have a long life.
No, they start losing some of their hearing prowess by 50 days of age.
Wow.
Yeah. So everybody out there, thank you for participating in that trivia. And I need to now move into the trivia question today. And it's one of my favorite topics. I haven't done this on the show yet, but I do have a question for y'all. And here it comes. And the winner is going to get a Doc and Phoebe hunting feeder product. So here we go. I went on a fact finding mission. And I wanted to find out, you know, what animals do pass gas and what animals don't. And did you know there's more than 80 species that
well, I would say all the mammals, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So here's your question for today. Which of the following, however, do not pass gas? So here are your choices. Giraffes, that's A. B, rabbits. C, sloths. And D, turtles. Of those four, which one can say, excuse me, it wasn't me, I did not pass gas? Was it the giraffe, rabbit, sloth, or turtle? Go ahead and put your answer down. And Kathy, tell them a couple more tips because they have some time to figure this out.
Yes. So send your answers to my email, please, kathy.black@yahoo.com. I will pick the winner Sunday afternoon and I'll send you an email if you are the selected winner. I do a random number generator on the internet, and I list all the correct answers and number the names, and that's the one that gets chosen. So everybody has a fair shot. You can type your answer on the live Facebook, but please send me an email because I'm not Facebook friends with everybody.
Okay, it's finally long overdue. We need to put a spotlight. Let me do this on Kathy Black. Kathy has been such a great co-host on the show since its beginning. And we launched the show when COVID was knocking us all, keeping us staying in place. And the folks at CFA said, let's have a party. Let's do something to celebrate all cats. And Wednesday seemed to be a good night. And we have been going on, we've been on the air now almost 2 years. And I have got to form a great friendship with you, Kathy. You've been to my home. You showed me so well. I went to a cat show in what was it, Mesquite?
Mesquite.
Yeah. And I felt like I was like a little kid in a candy store, and you just answered all my questions. The lady knows cats, but do we know Kathy Black? And so this is why it is long overdue. We're going to celebrate as our special guest, Kathy. And
I'm so nervous.
No, it's okay. It's not like going to the dentist, I promise you. But, you know, she's got a lot of things that she's done. We know she's an all-breed CFA judge, and that takes a lot of brain cells. You got to know the nuances of all the different breeds. Right now, she is also chairing the CFA's mentorship and what's called the New Bee Program. What the heck are those? Tell me.
Okay, well, let's start with the New Bee Program.
Okay.
We had a new person explain themselves. They felt like a bee. They were just buzzing around. They didn't know where to light. They didn't understand what they were doing. So that's where the new bee program name came from. It is for any person that is new to breeding cats or to exhibiting their cats, like with their household pet or their companion cat. It's just a program to get these people in the door and make them feel welcome, get them mentored up with somebody. So that's where the mentorship program comes in. So these programs used to be two completely separate programs.
Okay.
And when Daryl Newkirk was elected president 2 years ago, he combined them into one program because they go so hand in hand. Now with the mentorship program, you can need a mentor because you're brand new, you don't understand the nuances of the breed, you don't know other breeders to contact to get breeding cats from, you don't know how to show those cats, you don't know how to set up a cattery. I mean, the mentorship program is very expansive, includes so many different aspects. So, but what we do is when people want to be mentored, they go on to CFA's website, they complete the application. The application comes to me, I forward it to our regional coordinators, and those coordinators then match them with a person either working with that breed, or if the new person said it's okay to work with somebody with a different breed, then we match them with someone maybe with a different breed. And they're just there to answer their questions. Sometimes it's, how do I get my cattery registered? How do I register a cat? I bought a cat from Russia. How do I transfer it to CFA? You know, what's a cattery look like? How do I enter a show? I mean, there's all different aspects of that.
Yeah.
So we mentored them. So I had a fantastic mentor. When I bought my first Somali, I got it from Carla Bazell, and Carla was a fantastic mentor to me. I would call her up 2-3 times a week. We'd have hour-long conversations from everything under the sun, you know, helping me understand everything about breeding cats. And, you know, I didn't even know how long a pregnancy was, you know, or, you know, I was already exhibiting at cat shows, so I knew how to go to cat shows and I knew about that kind of aspect of it, but I needed more help working with the Somali breed. So the mentorship program is there not only to help people that are new, but you maybe have been on, you know, doing it for 2 or 3 years, and you need someone to help you, give you a little more guidance. Maybe you don't really know which cats to keep. You need someone to kind of bounce those ideas off of. Maybe you're in a corner of your breeding program, you need an outcross. You need someone to help you find that outcross. There's, like I said, there's a lot of different ways the mentorship program. And so the newbie program is the brand new exhibitors, and the mentoring is a very expansive program that could include lots of different aspects.
Well, we're going to dive in more about Kathy. For instance, she is from Oklahoma, where the cats wag their tails nicely. You said you were in Lawton, Oklahoma, but
that's
you're
where
now
I was born. I was born in Lawton. Yes, in Duncan.
Okay. Yeah, you should be living in Ardmore, Oklahoma, because then I would remind it would remind me every day.
I think about you all the time. I don't have to live in Ardmore.
And the other thing is she's got to pay for her house. And as much as she loves being a judge, being an active part of the CFA with the mentorship and newbie, and she's been on different committees, you've had different careers. So I'm kind of curious. You were a chief lab technician at Halliburton for 34 years.
Well, I wasn't a lab technician for 34, but I did work for Halliburton for 34. Wow. I got a degree in medical technology to work in a hospital lab. And when you first get out of college, the only jobs that are available in hospitals are the graveyard shift. That's the only ones. Nobody starts off on days. Everybody has to start off on nights. And plus you're there for calls and weekends and, you know, and I just I'm not built that way. I don't operate well at those hours. And my sister lived here in town and she knew about Halliburton and she said, well, why don't you check them out? So I applied. The pay was the same.
What's your sister's name?
Susie.
Hi, Susie.
Or Susan. So the pay was the same. The hours were 8 to 5. There was no on call. There was no overtime. There was no weekends. I thought, I'll try this and see what happens. And, you know, like life does typically, you get stuck. So, you know, I met my husband and But I started off in a department called water and sand. We called it going to the beach every day.
Wait a minute, that's
And-
like your prelude to someday having a litter box, right? You never know that.
Yeah, water and sand. And we worked in a department that made products to decrease the water production and the sand production in oil wells, because water is less thick than oil. So when you're trying to move these fluids in the ground, water is going to move easier than oil. So your
Right.
well's going to produce more water than oil. It costs you money to get rid of the water. You don't make any money on the water. You make money on the oil. So you want
that
to
makes
stop
sense.
that. Yeah, you want to stop that water production. And then sand produces over time too, and your whole well will sand out. And then you've got to dig all that stuff out, which is very expensive. So we made products that stop that for the
Good.
oil wells. And
So
then
when you
later-
have a toilet at your house and it's overflowing, are you just really good at fixing that?
I hate plumbing. I hate plumbing. It's nasty. It's black. It's nasty.
Well, let's
But,
kind of move on because we got a lot
yeah.
of topics to cover.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you were there for many years, and like a lot of folks, like I was a newspaper reporter for 20 years. I thought that's what I was going to do for all my life. And then I realized that not a lot of people are reading newspapers, and I pivoted and became an author and wrote for magazines, and then got into the whole world of pets. So you went from Halliburton, and then you went to Houston. You left Oklahoma?
No, my job went to Houston.
Oh,
I did not take that opportunity.
oh, you
And,
were going to have to go to Houston.
well, that was a choice. Stay
Yeah.
here and no longer work for the company, or move to Houston. Now, sadly, they did not give me the decision. They made the decision for me. So I didn't have to make that decision, which was a blessing in a way. And so
Well, your
I,
family's here. You have Susan.
yeah, I have
Your
my
mom and
parents-
dad.
My
Your mom
parents
and dad
moved
are
here
how many years young now?
90 and 96.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and they both survived COVID. So yeah.
that's amazing.
So anyway, I found myself without a job, and I wasn't very old, and I was being way overpaid for, I guess, what everybody else considered I was worth. I couldn't find a job that paid anything, and the only people knocking on my door were the insurance companies. And I knew nothing about insurance. I worked for the same company for 34 years. I had group insurance. I knew nothing about
Right.
private insurance. And but I interviewed with a company and fell in love with the manager there, who is still my manager today. And it's been 10 years of writing insurance and helping seniors and helping people protect their livelihood, their lives, their families, their health. You know,
That's very good.
I'm always
I'm one of
been
your
like a teacher.
customers, right?
Yes, you are. And I've always been like a teacher, and I don't view myself as a salesperson. I always said I couldn't sell a free puppy. I just like to educate people on what they're, where they're lacking, where the gaps are in their coverage, and then show them a solution. And if they find a solution they can afford, they buy it. So it's been
Well, let me just do a shout out for you, because for any of you hitting that magic 6'5" number where you have to get Medicare and you're like pummeled by all the commercials with Dynamite and Joe Namath and all these people and things in your mailbox, everything. It was so easy. Kathy helped me, got me a good plan, and she gave me the most succinct, clear PowerPoint that helped me. So I thank you for that. So on speaking of PowerPoints,
Yeah.
we're not gonna do Kathy's life in 70,000 slides because we only
No,
have an
let's
hour.
not do that.
But what we want to do is, before you hit the button, you
sorry.
started back in the early 80s. You had a Maine Coon mix kind of a cat named Tipsy.
I love Tipsy. Tipsy was given to me by the vet. I had a couple of little kittens that ended up dying of some horrible upper respiratory that they weren't even old enough to be vaccinated for. And the vet had picked up this cat, and so Tipsy came to my house, and Tipsy was hilarious because Tipsy never laid down.
Well, come on, anybody named Tipsy can't be boring.
He would always fall over. I mean, he would just walk until he fell over. And in fact, my husband taught we learned when he barely cocked his head, he was about to fall over. So my husband would go bang, and the cat would fall over. Yeah, but we would watch him, and people all thought we taught him how to do that, but he would ham it up. But Tipsy was a great cat. And when Tipsy got feline leukemia, sadly, and passed away, I told my husband, I said, I took Cat Fancy magazine, but this is before the internet, right?
Right.
And I said, I want a brown tabby and white Maine Coon neuter. And when Tipsy's gone, that's what I'm going to get. And that's what I ended up getting. And that was Casey.
And wait a minute, because Casey's nose is out of joint. Casey, my safety cat is Casey, right, Casey?
Yeah, this Casey was Kacy. It stood for Kathy's Coon. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of how he got his name.
And then you also had an amazing cat named Copper. So go ahead and show a few of the slides. Don't show every single one, but let's see what Casey looked like and Copper. You've got something here.
Okay. So let me go to presentation mode. So this is Casey. As you can see, very low white, very old school looking Maine Coon. In fact, people told me I should show Antica, and I'm like, no, I'm going to go to CFA. And so Casey did finally become a Grand Premier. It took a while. But while I was showing Casey, I met Carla, and she was selling Copper. Can you see Copper on my screen? Our pictures are in the way. Okay.
Yes.
And Copper was a little 5-month-old kitten for sale, very ugly looking at that time. Aww. But he was in a litter of 5 boys. And so when Carla kind of got him by himself, she was like, he's not so bad. And so when I talked to her about getting him, she changed her mind, decided she wasn't going to sell him. And then she came over to me later and said, well, will you show him? And I said, well, yeah, anytime I show the Maine Coon, I'll show the Somali. And so she sold him to me, and I brought him home. And I was trying to think of a name, and the sun was setting, and I was thinking it was a really pretty coppery colored sky, and the cat's kind of copper colored. And about that time, a highway patrolman comes screaming up behind me with the lights all blazing. I thought he was going to pull me over, but he went around me. And that's how Copper got his name, Copper Black.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't named Siren.
Right, exactly. So these are just some of the other cats I've had. I've had Somalis and Maine Coons and Chartreux and Turkish Angoras and American Curls, and lots of different breeds have lived with, and they've all been a blessing.
They have. I love them all. And in your lap is a first timer too. So tell everybody about Miss Destiny.
Yeah, Miss Destiny. I always wanted to get a dog. I had a dog as a child, an outside dog, and begged Daddy to let us have her when we were just little children. But we never had an inside dog. That was not allowed. My dad still doesn't allow animals in his house. And he lets Destiny come visit. But yeah, I always wanted to kind of add a dog. I thought if I was going to add one during COVID was the time to do it, because I'm home, I'm not traveling, there's no international travel, there's not even any domestic travel. I'll have plenty of time to learn how to deal with a dog, live with a dog, hopefully puppy train a dog. And so I had a good friend, Gary and Omar. They breed these dogs up in New Jersey. And he offered this puppy to me, and I'm like, okay. And that's how Miss Destiny came to live with me.
How did you get the name Destiny? Was there a police with a siren coming up?
It's not a stripper name. I was knocking around D names for some reason. I don't know why they just D.
I'm glad it wasn't Damn It.
Yeah. And I just thought it was destiny. It was time. It was the time. It was the right time, the right place, the right opportunity, the right dog, the right breeder. It was just all just destiny.
I have had the opportunity to meet Destiny, everyone. And I love Destiny. Destiny is what, 5 pounds?
Yeah. Well, she's maybe 6 now.
Oh, 6. Oh, excuse me. 2 fingers, 2 hands now.
She's still got a nice skinny body. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's a sweet, she loves you. She loves you. And I kind of like that. What do you think about having a dog on Meowy Hour every week?
Well, I think it's kind of an interesting twist on Meowy
Yeah.
Hour, but I trained my cats not to be on my desk. They know they are not allowed on my desk. They're not allowed on the countertops. They're not allowed on the kitchen table. There's just places they're not allowed to go. And so people say, why are your cats never on Meowy Hour? Well, they don't ever come anywhere near the desk. And if one of them comes into the office here, the dog gets all jealous and chases them away. So they just don't grace me with their presence when we're on Meowy Hour. But I had a lot of cats at one point in time. I was working with 4 different breeds at once. I had
Wow.
males, females, adolescents, kittens. I had a whole house full of cats. I was working a full-time job. I was judging. One year I did 48 shows in
Oh
one
my
year.
gosh. There's only 52 weeks in the year, young lady.
It was just life was absolutely insane, and I had a really weird instance happen as I was kind of winding down my Somali program, and I decided that's it. I'm not breeding cats anymore. I placed a lot of major cats, kept my favorite cats, and kind of just completely stopped the breeding program, and was that way for maybe a year or two. And then a friend of mine convinced me I had to buy this chartreuse, had to get this chartreuse, Tootsie. That was like 13 years ago. So I ended up getting Tootsie and kind of started back again with chartreuse after that. But currently I'm not breeding cats anymore. I have 2 spays now that Tootsie's passed away. I had 3. So it's just all us girls in the house. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about because you are an all breed judge, and that takes a lot of knowledge. I know you've bred a lot of breeds and all that, and for somebody that was working at Halliburton 3 decades ago to now, it's kind of interesting how opposite all that is.
Well, we all have our own personal life. We have our work life, we have a personal life. I've always considered myself kind of a teacher. My mother's a good teacher. She substitute taught grade school. She's a Sunday school teacher her whole life, just about. My oldest sister was a school teacher for 30 years plus. We just kind of have teaching in our blood, I guess. And my dad was a minister, so he's obviously teaching, every week when he was a preacher. And when I was at Halliburton, I got a really nice job in the analytical department, doing the analysis of all the different core samples of all the different wells around the world to help the engineers find solutions to get more oil out.
And less water and sand, right?
Yeah, and less water and sand. And so I was on the tour, every single dignitary from grade school kids to senators to presidents and vice presidents, and they all came to see Kathy. And so I would do a little dog and pony show showing them what I was doing. And I really enjoyed that teaching aspect of it. And when Carla and I were at one of the annual meetings, I think it was in San Diego, and we were playing around just chatting in the hotel room, and we got to talking about the judging program. And she said, I've been thinking about maybe applying. And I said, well, I've been thinking about maybe applying. And she said, well, I'd like to do it for the travel. And I said, well, I'd like to do it for the teaching aspect of it. Okay, because I'd rather give my opinion than hear somebody else's. And so she said, well, I'll do it if you do it. And I said, well, I'll do it if you do it. And so that's how we both applied to the judging program. She was living in Austin at the time, and we both applied as short-hair judges. And that's difficult. You have to hire 2 judges to fill a whole ring. And so I was fortunate that I had a lot of clubs that would hire me, and I worked right through the program. Right in the middle of all that, Carla decided to build her house in Pensacola, and her husband and her moved off to Pensacola. So it took her a little bit longer, but we moved through the process almost perfectly together. And I've been blessed of all the different places I've got to go to, but
Let's time out because I'm going to tee that up. But you've been an all breed judge for more than 15 years, correct?
yes.
Okay. And I want to ask you this because you told me a little bit and I want to hear this story. This is a woman, everybody, that has now been like all over the world as an all breed cat judge. But what was the first place you visited out of the United States? Write your answers because I'm thinking Mexico, Canada, maybe the Bahamas. Oh, not Kathy Black. Kathy Black, Oklahoma, born and raised, took her first international trip to
Beijing, China. And it was just a crazy. Okay, so when you're going to take a trip internationally, you need to know a couple things like your hotel.
Yeah.
Who's meeting you at the airport? Right. Maybe what the exchange rate is for the currency. Did Kathy leave for China knowing any of those things?
No.
No. My host had decided at the last minute. It was a 2-ring show. It was when Pam Delabar was president. So maybe somebody can tell us on Facebook when that was. And since Pam was president, the club decided, oh, we can't put our judges in this really awful hotel. We need to get a better hotel. So I got an email saying, we didn't have email back in those days, but I didn't have a smartphone. And so I got an email saying, we're changing the hotel. I'll let you know. And so I flew from Oklahoma City to Chicago, and my plane had a mechanical problem. So we had a 4-hour delay.
Okay.
So the whole 4 hours I'm sitting there, I keep calling my man friend I had at the time, and I gave him password to my email. I'm like, check my email. Have I heard from the guy in China yet? For 4 hours, no word. Kathy takes off for Beijing. Kathy lands in Beijing. There's no one there to meet her. Now, you have to picture the scene. There's like this long railing that goes at least 100 yards, and it's full of people that are all trying to see if their loved ones are exiting customs, right? And some of them are holding signs, but like at the cat clubs, we would have people wear like a winner's ribbon or something that was very unique to CFA, so you could recognize. When I put on shows, I always gave my transportation lady a winner's ribbon. I tell the judges, she'll be wearing a winner's ribbon, you'll recognize her, right? There was no one there to meet me. And so every step I take, dragging my 2 suitcases, because it was January, it was very cold, there were taxi drivers going, taxi, 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 taxi. I mean, every step. So I wandered around for about an hour with these taxi drivers, taxi, 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 every second for the whole hour. And I saw a sign on the ground that said Capitol Airport Hotel, Kathy with a K, K-A-T-H-Y, and the last name was Duong, D-U-O-N-G. So I'm going, Duong, Dung, Black. Maybe in Mandarin, you say black as Duong. So there was a guy standing there with like a uniform on. And so I asked him, does this mean Kathy Black? And he looks at me like, he doesn't speak a word of English, okay? And I'm like, does this black? Pointing to the Duong. And he takes me over to a desk where these cute little ladies were sitting for the Capitol Airport Hotel. And there was no reservation for a Kathy Black or a Kathy Duong for that matter. But then I remembered I had my contact phone number. So I gave them his phone number. They call him, and he's like, you're not supposed to be here today. You're coming tomorrow. And I said, no, I am here today. There's no one there to meet you. Yeah, I know. And so he said, well, go get some money out of the ATM. Don't take the taxi drivers in the airport. Go outside, stand in line there. Well, I didn't know how much money to take out. I had not done any research as to the foreign exchange rate, and so I didn't know if I was wiping out my whole checking account, with one swipe of an ATM card in Beijing, which thankfully worked. Anyway, I got some money out. So I'm standing in line waiting for the taxi. And I'm trying to figure out if I got enough money. So I kept asking the guy from here, they wrote down the address of the hotel in Chinese for me. So I kept asking from here to here, how much money? From here to here, how much money? Well, they finally understood what I was saying, but they had no idea how to tell me in English how much money.
Oh.
Okay. So when the driver pulls up, this is where it gets funny.
Okay, we got to kind of wrap a little bit.
Okay, I'm almost done. The driver pulls up, and he's like throwing my bags in the back of this cab, and I'm trying to ask him the same question, do I have enough money? And somehow the keys go flying into the deep recesses of the taxi. And I see this happen, and he's about to slam the lid, and I leaned forward, to point out his keys, and he hits me in the head. Now, it's been like 24 hours since I took my first flight, okay? And then I've been wandering around this Beijing airport, hounded by taxi drivers for at least 2 hours. And now I've got hit in the head with a cab driver's truck. And he looks at me like, okay, crazy American woman, you can ride in the cab. You don't have to ride in the truck. And I'm going, your keys. And finally he understands what I'm saying. So he has to take my bags out. He has to crawl in there, get the keys, put my bags back in there. Thankfully I had enough money. I had a lovely time, but that was my first trip out of the country.
Wow. Now let's show a few pictures because we got about 5 to 6 minutes left of talking about you, Kathy. But okay. You guys, look at this. She's been to Germany, France, Australia, Japan, Spain, Israel, China, Russia, Ukraine, Finland, Sweden, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Taiwan, Thailand, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, Canada. I can't do it in a single breath. Hey, guys, be easy. So look at these pictures. Now share some of these things. These are memories.
Well, I always wanted to see a live big tiger, and I saw judges that got to go to tiger parks in Indonesia. And when I finally got to Indonesia, my host said, "Oh no, the tiger parks are closed," which turns out they weren't. But anyway, they did take us to see this liger. This is a lion-tiger combination.
Wow, yeah.
Lovely female. She was in beautiful condition, lots of muscling on her spine. Her coat was perfectly clean. I was happy to see that. I know she was drugged because we were in just an open room, but she didn't act like she was too drugged. We've watching the orangutans play around with the babies hanging upside down, and that was just a lot of fun. I got to go on a trip to Italy to see a friend of mine that breeds chartreuse over there. And she took me all the way, we went to Pisa, we went to Rome, we went everywhere. It was absolutely fabulous. That very first trip to Beijing was where I took this picture.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful golden temple reflecting on the water. So that was 2007. I was trying to remember what year that was. And
is that the Great Wall of China?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is me on the Great Wall of China. It was January and it was cold. Yeah, my host, Tina, you're not hero unless you make it to the top. And I'm like, okay, Tina, we're going to make it to the top.
All right.
And then, seeing
show us. All right. This is you helping the giant, but the pandas, what is happening in this photo? It looks like an alligator.
It's I was trying to zoom it. I don't know if I can zoom it or not. There we go.
Right.
Yes, it was this little sprite of a girl about 4 foot tall who stuck her head in this 20-foot long crocodile's mouth.
What?
And there was another guy that beat on his snout with like drumsticks that kind of hypnotized him, and he stuck his arm all the way down its throat. And
can I ask a question? Why?
It was part of the show. Part of the show. Yeah. So I mean, lots of different places, a lot of different wonderful experiences, and the common theme is we're all one big happy family. We all love our cats. We all have our same goals and dreams. I don't care what country you live in. You want to be able to pursue happiness. You want to be able to take care of your family. Don't care what your country's ideals are. Everybody is the same.
I like that.
And when you get out and you get in the world, you really realize that down basic deep, that's what everybody is. We all just want to show our cats, breed our cats, love our cats, enjoy our freedoms and our hobby, and take care of our families, you know?
Well, I think for a gal from Lawton, Oklahoma, you've come a long way, baby. You have probably got passports so full of stamps that would make an airline attendant be jealous.
Well, we have a lot of judges who have traveled far more than I have, but I've been very blessed.
Well, when you're not there, it says you really do like playing the piano.
I
Really?
try to play the piano for at least an hour every day.
Really?
And
What kind of genre do you like?
I do everything. I do classical, I do gospel, I do rock and roll, I do
Wow.
oldies from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. I do it all. I just
And
I play
so
multiple genres in one setting. So yeah.
that's pretty cool. Card games. What are you good at?
I'm not good at poker.
Okay. Then we are going to play for money. Okay,
my
thanks.
grandmother loved skip-bo. If anybody knows
I love skip-bo.
Oh my goodness, my grandmother she would bring in people off the street to play skip-bo with her, and our family now has learned to play hand and foot, and that is a game that my mother and dad they play it every week with his brother. It's a lot of fun. I like to play hand and foot when we get together.
Well, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. All I can say is I am so happy that you're my friend and you're my co-pilot on this show. And
I love you too.
I just think what you do is amazing professionally in the cat field, and you live a good full life, which is a good thing to do. You don't just sit around wondering what to do.
No.
Well, we're going to make her work again, guys, because right now she is going to tell us about the breed being showcased today on Meowy Hour, and that is the exotic. And so you take it away while I get my kitty cocktail ready.
All right, I'm going to get a quick swig. All right. So one thing I want to point out is that we now have separated the exotics into different divisions, and each division competes like its own breed, like we do with the Persians. But I don't think that's what's happening with the breed of the week on CFA's Facebook page, Destiny. So for this presentation, we're going to lump them all together into one presentation. So let's talk about the little teddy bear cat, the exotics. And these cats have a beautiful plush coat, very short, very dense, stands away from the body with a life of its own. But they meet the Persian standard in every way except for that coat. And it is very unique to the breed. It gives them that teddy bear look. In fact, the first time I saw a Himalayan pointed division exotic, it reminded me of a little teddy bear I had when I was a girl. But we used to call this a lazy man's Persian. Some people called them the working woman's Persian. But they should present an impression of a heavily boned, well-balanced cat, sweet, open expression with soft, round lines. The large, round eyes set well apart contribute to that sweet, open look. The thick coat softens the lines of the cat. And as I said earlier, they're now judged in divisions, same as the Persian breed divisions. We have the solid, tabby, party color, smoke and shaded, silver and golden, bicolor, which includes the calicos, and the Himalayan division. So let's look at some of these beauties. Here we have a cat from the brown patch tabby. So from the tabby division. This is a brown tabby and white. So from the bicolor division. These are both look like girls to me. But even with the girls, we have that nice heavy boning, the breadth of the chest, no neck. The head sits right on those shoulders with that big open sweet expression. And because these cats don't have all the hair to hide flaws like you might with a Persian, you need to have smaller ears. You need to have that boning because there's no hair to hide those features that may not be perfect. Here's a lovely little brown patch tabby in white, a calico and a dilute calico, and another calico over here. Here's a beautiful brown tabby with a classic tabby pattern. I got lots of calicos and patch tabbies in these pictures I grabbed for some reason. The cats will always have copper eyes unless they are in the, let's say like a silver tabby or in the Himalayan division. Then of course they'll have the blue eyes. Here's one in the Himalayan division, speak of the devil, with a red point and a blue point. So they will have the blue eyes because that goes along with the gene. And I thought this picture was beautiful. I can't remember whose cattery this is. We also do accept the long-haired exotic. They compete with the Persian class that they match. So this is a long hair back here, and all these others are short hair. But I thought that picture was absolutely breathtaking, and a lot of beautiful cats.
I've got to tell you, that one, I'm looking at every individual exotic, and I'm drawn into each one of them. What a fantastic photo.
Yeah, some beautiful cats there.
Wow. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we love all cats, exotics, the purebreds, and I really love that your first cat was sort of an almost Maine Coon.
Yes,
and I don't know the heritage of my cats. They've got a lot of mixed DNA in them. They're full of mischief too. But tell us a little bit about how the CFA is helping recognize, champion all cats with this CCW program.
I'm back in my office and I found Lola's card. Right, so CCW stands for Companion Cat World. It is our way to give a legacy and a history to your cat that you may not know that. It's for the random bred cats, for the rescue cats. You could be a cat that you feed off your back porch that you can't even touch.
Yeah.
It's for any cat. And this program recognizes those cats that make our lives that much better. And 10% of your one-time $13 fee goes to a local shelter. You get a lovely card. This is a hard card too, like a credit card with your cat's picture, your cat's name, its registration number, which is unique to it, your cat's date of birth, its gender, and your name, who it's owned by. These also come in luggage tags, which is really cool to go on your cat crate or on your soft-sided carrier when you're traveling. So everybody check it out, cfa.org/CCW.
I like it. Well, he just popped in for a moment, but he's really trying to play me for treats. But the next thing we want to announce is, as a master certified pet first aid and CPR instructor, I'm happy to say we have openings for our next veterinary approved cat class. It is via Zoom, live interactive, 3 hours. The class date is June 23rd. So please go to Pet First Aid for You. And Casey is always in class. And sometimes Rusty does show up too. We just went to the Louisville Animal Service Center in outside of Dallas, Kathy, and we trained their entire team and certified them in cat and dog first aid. So we do classes, and Casey was a clown. If I can share, we'll go ahead and go off camera, go back to us. We're in this room with all these training this team. There's animal control officers, there's shelter behaviorists, whatever. It's a whole gamut. And Casey is very confident. He's never a stranger or a strange place. Let me just bribe him as I try to tell the story. Come here, Casey. So there's a windowsill, and Casey notices that there is a beautiful red cardinal in a tree right by the window. So he goes up to give him a what for with that cackle cats make. And he didn't know, but hiding, coming up underneath is the mama cardinal. So he's looking at this other cat and he went, boom, the cat touched the glass and Casey sprung up in the air. He was like, he got nailed by a cardinal through the glass.
So did the bird hit the window or did it?
Yeah, the bird tapped the window like, back off, cat. So it was Cardinals 2, Casey 0.
That's
But I
funny.
do hope you guys, I goof a lot, but I am very serious. One of the best gifts you can give any pet, cat or dog, is to take a first aid class and know what to do and what not to do when uh-oh happens. And like Kathy has with her cat judging and knowing all the breeds, that is the thing I'm very passionate about. And I have been able to train thousands of people, and it's so great when they write back and say, I saved my cat today. So I'm not going to win the lottery, but I can sure teach you a priceless skill, and that is pet first aid.
And that is
So,
priceless.
Anybody getting thirsty?
Yes, please.
This one, we are doing this kitty cocktail. I am your humble licensed bartender. I have created over 100 cocktails with cat names for Meowy Hour. And this
Crazy,
one,
huh?
yeah, the graphic, thank you, thank Mew to, we want to give it to Teresa Kiger. She is also an all-breed cat judge and editor of Cat Talk magazine. This is beautiful, Teresa. You did this justice. I hope I can make it look like this. But we're making the Siamese blue-eyed blueberry sidecar because you want to sip this gin cocktail and just be ready to grin like a contented cat. So to start this recipe, you actually want an empty cocktail shaker, and you want to put in a handful of blueberries. I got fresh blueberries, perfect time of year. Then you want to be able to put 3/4 ounces of Cointreau. Cointreau is an orange liqueur, but you can also use triple sec. So you want to do a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Casey's helping me. Then
Casey wants to know if there's whipped cream tonight or not.
there is no whipped cream tonight, kitties.
Oh, Casey, sorry, honey.
Then you want to do a 1/2 ounce of orange juice. So I'm putting that in there. Casey goes, I don't like citrus.
Hurts my nose.
Yeah, it hurts my nose. And then what you want to do is with the orange juice and the Cointreau, you want to take a muddler. Casey's my Vanna White. And you want to mash it. So I'm mashing it all up. All right. Then you want to add gin. And you're going to add, ooh, that's a lot, 2 ounces of gin. So count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Casey's like, I don't like gin either.
Gin does not make me grin. You want to add a couple dashes of orange bitter. Be cognizant that 1 drop of bitter is very potent.
Yeah. Don't want to mess up with that.
Yeah. And then you want to go ahead and add some ice into your shaker. Put the lid on carefully. And shake it until it's frosted. Then you're going to strain it. And I have been chilling this martini glass with ice and water during the show. And you want to drip it in. And to make it pretty, go ahead and put in a couple orange twists. That gives it that flavor. And I like to add a little few more dollops of blueberry. So at this time, please let us all raise a glass. Let us toast to all cats, purebred and mutts like Casey, who make us better people. Cheers, kitties.
Cheers.
This is very good and very potent.
You better just sip that, darling. Just
I am
sip
sipping and grinning the gin. We also want at this time, let's give a big thank you to our star today, all-breed cat judge, Kathy Black. Destiny, you got a great mama there. We want to thank the Cat Fancier Association for presenting Meowy Hour. Of course, we want to thank our great sponsors, Doc and Phoebe. And I got to thank my team. Pet Safety Cat Casey and Rusty the Performer, who come like cats in and out when they choose onto the screen. Next week, woo, we're going to the kitties. Our special guest is extremely renowned. This is Susan Spaulding of National Kitten Coalition, and she's going to share us some tips about the itty bitty kitties. What do you think, Kathy?
It's difficult to deal with itty bitties, especially if you've got a mother that has any kind of milk issues or nurturing issues, or they're premature. It's difficult to deal with those itty bitty ones.
Well, I bless Susan for doing that. So guys, be good to your kitties tonight. We're going to see you next Wednesday. Same cat channel, same cat time. Seeing you on Meowy Hour. Thank you, everybody, for coming.